Have you ever heard the term earnest money or wondered what earnest money is? If you have, that's what we're talking about today. Let's get started. Hey guys, welcome back to Sun City Living. If this is your first time here, welcome. My name is Teresa Ramirez, and I am a real estate licensed professional with Clearview Realty here in the El Paso area. So today we're talking about earnest money. Though some of you might know what that is if you've previously been through the purchase process. If you've never heard the term before, I've got you covered. So, what is earnest money? Well, earnest money is pretty much just a good faith deposit. So let's say that you have been looking for houses and you've been on the search and you finally found the one. So the next step would be to write an offer, of course. In this offer, you would include what your earnest money deposit is. What is your good faith deposit in order for the seller to take the house off the market and work with you? Well, some of you may ask, how much should I give as an earnest money deposit? And the answer is, it depends. In some cases, $500 is a good enough amount to get the offer started. In some cases, the seller may prefer a percentage of the purchase price of the house, which could be 1 or 2% of the purchase price. When is earnest money deposited? Earnest money is deposited 3 days after the contract has been executed. This means that both you, the buyer, and the seller have come to terms on the contract, and now it's time to make good on your word and deposit that earnest money. So whatever the amount is, you can either deposit it by check or cashier's check, and that would go to the title company who will be handling the closing. Now you may be asking yourself, in what situation would I get my earnest money back? Well, there are a couple of reasons of why you would get your money back. Let's say that it is during your option period and you have ordered an inspection on the house and you found a couple of things that you are just not comfortable with and you no longer want to move forward in the process. That would be a reason to get your money back. So that means that the real estate agent that you're working with would cancel the contract and then you would be able to get your EMD back. The second reason of why you would be able to get your money back would be if you no longer qualify for the loan. So let's say that you got laid off and you are no longer making as much money as you used to. Or let's say that interest rates spiked and now you can't afford your monthly payment. That would be a reason for the lender to deny you the loan. You would be entitled to your money back as long as that happens before the expiration period on your financing contingency. And the last reason would be for appraisal purposes. So let's say that the appraisal comes back and the property didn't come back at value. That would be another reason in the right circumstances that you would be able to get your money back. With all of that said, however, it is important to keep in mind that there are cases in which the seller is entitled to keep your earnest money. So let's assume that your option period is over, inspection went great, you were able to negotiate repairs with the seller, the lender has approved you for the loan, and appraisal came back and everything looks good. And let's say that 2 days before closing, you see a new house that just hit the market and you decide you want to back out of the contract and move on that new house that just hit the market. Well, then you would be in breach of contract and the seller would then be entitled to keep your earnest money. So it's always important that you're working with a realtor who understands the timelines, who is keeping top of mind your financial contingency expiration date. It's very important so that you don't lose your earnest money. There really should be no reason of why you should ever lose your earnest money unless you deliberately just choose to be in breach of contract. All right, and now let's say that you're working with an experienced agent like me and everything is falling into place. Your inspection went great, you were able to negotiate repairs, your loan is going beautifully and you're ready to go, appraisal is back and it looks good. Well, now you're gonna go to the closing table. So what happens to your earnest money then? Well, then it's credited towards your closing cost. So let's say that you need $2,000 for cash to close. And let's say that you gave $1,000 of earnest money. Well, now you only need $1,000 of cash to close, since that other $1,000 would be credited to your closing cost. Or we can assume that you don't have any closing costs. At that point, that would be refunded to you. So let's say that you gave $500 earnest money, you don't owe anything for closing. After closing takes place and after the loan has funded, you would then receive a check from the title company for your $500 or however much your earnest money was for. So now you know all there is to know about earnest money. I invite you to like this video if it's been helpful to you. If you are in the market for a new house and are kind of just wondering what that process looks like, I invite you to check out this video above. That is all about the home buying process, step by step. If you are moving to the El Paso area, or if you are thinking of purchasing a house, this channel is designated for all things Sun City and all things real estate. I appreciate it if you subscribe to my channel. Have a good one, and I'll see you next week.